last show went 0 dark 30. We'll walk around and we'll see who shows back up. So if anybody that's new here, I was just doing a show walking around here, and I wonder what you got to hear, what I was talking about. Oh, by the way, it's me, Zen, and if you don't know me, that's my head. Good to see everybody. I'm gonna try to find a spot where I can get some shade because I can't really see the screen. Why do you got beads, dog? Need a little bit of shade here. That way I can see your comments. Well, here's some of this cool. Got the old brick on the bottom. Maybe we'll talk about red brick today, and then I'll get into whatever I was going to on the other, whatever the title of my other show was. What was the title of my other show? People being addicted to algorithms and creating space instead of being addicted to algorithms. That's maybe why I figured I'd come to a different place today than you might all be used to. And then we're getting into, I think you guys are still on here when we started to talk about living in the dead. And everybody that makes a claim to some sort of birth, like a ship, their birth certificate, and the capitis diminutis, I believe is the word, all capitalized letters, which turns you into a capitalization turns you into a corpse or a corporation, turns you into a dead body. We're getting into all that. So we'll dig into that perhaps in a little bit again. Take a little leisurely stroll through these parts. Get your words out there, buddy. So right over on the other side of there is part of the racetrack. I think that's where it starts. Maybe not. Maybe a street. Maybe one more street over. No, there's a little neighborhood right there. That's right. Let's see who's up in here. What's up, Matthew Maxwell? What's up, Cindy Avery? Oh yeah, you missed the if the beginning of the other show I was in the front up here, which have way cooler. See, these are like the row homes of where they keep the bodies. Well, no, these I don't think there's any bodies in here. I think all of them are burnt, right? Turned to ashes and put in there. Some of them might, and I do have a feeling that some of the older ones, you can go into them and go into an underground city probably. I wouldn't see why not. It's expressed pretty fluently in a lot of movies and a lot of historical things. You think about going, even video games and things, you go into one of these, and then all of a sudden there's like a secret entrance to an underground labyrinth. And I don't see why that wouldn't be possible, considering there are so many underground cities that they just dug tunnels. No, they're already there. We're built on top of civilizations. See how many people we got from the 1890 to 71. See, now what happens is you get people that only lived like 40 years, and it was due to wars and things, and like all sorts of crazy things that were going on. But the standard lifespan for somebody really living a normal life was way more than what we express now. It's really easy to lie with statistics. Say, the normal lifespan is 68 to 72. I don't think so. I mean, like maybe is now, across the board, the average mean life, the median lifespan. But prior to getting stabbed up with needles and eating processed food and garbage, without the without that being introduced. So as long as you're using the averages properly, because when do they start taking censuses for one, and who was being involved in those? So it's so easy to lie with statistics, but people take them. Oh, it's math, it's numbers, it's science. Sorry, brah, it's not. It's just you can manipulate that shit to mean and say whatever you want. But when you take a look at it, you're noticing people born in the here's somebody that was born in 1832, and they made it to 1918. Okay, that shouldn't seem possible because that was the one old person. 1874 to 1960. Anybody good with math? Well above 80. 1870 to 1961. How's that? 91. There you go. I mean, it's just so obvious when you look at these old graves of how many people are living well into their 80s and 90s. And then you have all of the graves that like people weren't put in really nice, nice pieces like this that you don't know when they were born. Oh, look at the size of this guy. Alman. 74 to 62. Oh, this is the Italian Society. Oh, shit. Legitimately millions and millions of dollars in marble. For someone to be buried in? I don't know. Just seems peculiar, doesn't it? It seems a little bizarre. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, okay, the floor comes up. But you can pull that up. I mean, you probably go down beneath this. Probably something beneath it. People just hanging out down there. There's probably a casino beneath that. Bookies down there chilling. Ooh, there's a mausoleum on that side. I've never been over here. I did not know this. I knew there was a big one on this side. But over here... So yeah, if anybody's curious, this is that's St. Louis number 2. This is one of the more popular ones to tour. I think it's because of ease of access and where it's at. I mean, it's cool. I don't know, it's my favorite. It's nice because it's my backyard, basically. Doctor of Jazzology. A jazzology? That's a thing? Okay. I never knew that. I thought that would just be that'd be something funny someone would say, jazzology. There you go. 88 to 84. Anybody good at math? It's, 90. Yeah. Again, 97 to 87. 90. It's too frequent to see people that are into their late 80s and 90s. And then you got to consider, what do you got to consider about those dates, which is even more interesting to me, is during the second half of their life, they were consuming a lot of chemically laced product and packaged goods and garbage. I mean, most likely, right? So I mean, how if those people would have stayed on one of their, the ways of eating, the way they did it, and stayed in a different area. I don't know. Like maybe they'd still be alive. Maybe they'd be 120. But once those people were, living in this type of society for 50 years, this type of food, this type of noise pollution, light pollution, smog, and just all the garbage. I don't know. It doesn't take like. Don't take a brain surgeon to figure that one out. You know, I gotta really think that hard about it. These are not like one-offs that are above 80. There you go. 1906 to 2000. 94. I know most of you don't know people that are into their 90s right now. You know that. You know that you don't. They're not. They make it to the 90s. That's pretty rare. Because yeah, that would have been born in the 30s, and then right after the Great Depression, right? And born in the 30s, and then gone through all that kind of crazy conflict. So that, you know, most people probably in their 70s, kicking the old buckets, kicking a tomato can around. Hey, here's a tree I can get a little shade at, so I can, like whatever you guys are saying. We'll hang out with Pausina, Dominica Pausina. What's good? Hi everybody, how you doing? What's up? What's going on, Super Champ? Your grandma's in her 90s? What's up? Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean, but that's a rarity going on, right? That's a rarity these days. For sure. I mean, it's the, you know, walking through here, the amount of people that should not be in there, like the percentage wise, there should definitely not be this many, according to how people would have you believe. The altered, destroyed, diseased, decayed, corrupted history of our civilization, of mankind, of humans, of whatever the hell these bodies are. I don't know. It's always here. Let me flip this shit around. It's always flabbergasting me. Like, what is the big, why the big lies? Like, okay, if somebody, you know, if we killed some giants and even if the victors were in the wrong, you're still there. Like, why alter all the history? Why destroy as much evidence of the past as possible? For what? Like, how like when people are like, oh, they're evil, they're satanic, they're da-da-da-da. Like, I mean, whatever you think, but it just doesn't even seem to go out of your way that much with the countless people to go in on erasing and altering the history of the whole fucking world, like that whole place we live. That's crazy. I mean, the fact can it be, you know, that's, everybody goes, oh, that can't be done, but except everywhere we look, it shows it has been done. Everything about it, it shows without question it's been done. I mean, obviously, you keep people not having knowledge, you keep them confused, and you can mold them, you can manipulate them, you can control them. So unless the people at the highest levels are really immortal, let's say vampiric immortal type beings, I think that might be the case. And because in any other way, there'd be no reason. Like, I mean, if you're living for 100 years and out of here, there's no reason for you to go through all the problems with, you know, making these, you know, becoming a billionaire and making all these big things and doing, I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it's gonna be out of here in 80 years anyways. See, I wouldn't mind trying to. This house is a piece of garbage here. I wouldn't mind trying to buy it. Somebody want to buy a house with me? Let me see if this shit is for sale. No one's living there. You want to buy that? I know how to rehab a house. I'll build the shit. You take the front. I'll take the back. It should be fun. See again, 1881 to 73, and you got to wonder about. I mean, 80 in the 1880s. Yeah, I mean, so right around then, you got the World Fair starting and going on. 1897 to 1990. 89 to 85. Yeah, and you wonder how many of these, if you're into the whole research of the quote mud floods unquote and the orphan trains and all, and then the infant incubators, and whether they were being produced in an artificial womb or underground or whatever, like how many of these people were. It's very interesting. Jerry Seinfeld was talking to somebody, and the interviewers asking him, and because he's a comedian, he goes, "Oh yeah, my father was an incubator baby," and he started laughing. He goes, "No, really," and the dude just found it so bizarre that he just thought it was a joke. This is one of the conversation, and like he just was like, "Yeah, of course he was." Papa Nia. Oh, Henry Beckers is still kicking, unless he just doesn't get put in here for some reason. But this is called a perpetual care, so it means this shit is paid for. So he must be still kicking around, Henry Eckers III. Because you don't get one of these things and get your name already put on it if you're, you know what I mean? That's already paid for. Oh shit! So he's almost 100. Ooh, the heat is starting to kick, man. Let me go catch some of this. I mean, they got AC up in this joint. Oh, nice. We got a bathroom in here. I didn't know that. Cool. Oh, indoor. What? So, what do I suppose up there? Offices, I'm guessing. That'd be kind of weird to work on top of a bunch of. I mean, I guess we all kind of do, huh? Walking around on dead bodies, on ancient burial grounds. Pretty bad, huh? Why do you always feel like you have to be silent in a library or one of these places? Awake to bed, if I'm talking, you can't read. I don't get it. Super champ. She only that's yeah. I don't think people understand how bad the water is. I had to have a conversation. Well, I didn't have to, but you get in those little internet conversations with idiots, and there are still people that vehemently believe that fluoride is good for your health and good for your bones, good for your being, good for your mind. Actually, they made the claim that it's good for mental health. I was like, wow, you are lost knee deep in the sauce, huh? I'm like, literally, we've known since the 80s that it's at least not a good idea. Oh, here's some clean water. Let's add some chemicals to it. Yeah, a dude I used to study from, met years and years ago. Shit, it's almost been 20 years since I met him. And he called tap water tap liquid. He said tap liquid. It's not water. And he said well water was it's water. And he always tried to find spring water. Which makes sense to me. Spring water springs up. It's energetic. Something about it. I mean, I'm still, I'll still kick it with the distilled as primary. But spring's good. Well is just fine. Like it's like people are concerned. It's so funny when people are like, "Oh, don't drink distilled water. It's so bad for you." I'm like, considering the rest of the diet of your life, what you consume between over the food and the chemicals that you put in your armpits and you wash yourself with, and the soda and the other just the garbage you put in your body, and you're worried about distilled water leaching out all the minerals in your body, it's absolutely retarded. It's so insane. Like, it would do you just fine. But no, that's water. Literally, if I say I'm gonna just give you water, you're more concerned with that cup of water than you are if I hand you a diet soda that has phenylalanine and aspartame and shit they make in a laboratory. As long as it didn't hurt no animals. Soon they're gonna be claiming that water kills animals because they drank too much of it or something. I don't know. That's wild shit, dog. Like, people say, when they say distilled water leaches, the easiest thing you can point to is a tree and see every time it rains. That's distilled water. Why isn't it eating the leaves? Why isn't it eating the tree? Derp, because it's a living system. It doesn't distilled water does not leach living material. It takes inorganic compounds in the body and removes them. It's just like silt and garbage that's in moving water. It'll grab onto things and move it, clean itself. But no, I can't have that. I do like the graveyard. It is so calming and so relaxing. These are the kind of people I really get along with, you know? They got nothing stupid to say. You can feel them energetically sometimes. Let's go check this one out over here. I don't think we looked at this one yet, did we? Might have to throw my ass in the pool in a second, huh? Whew. It's not too bad because the sun is hidden. But as soon as that sun comes out, it's about to be a beast out here. Oh, we got a bench. And this guy. Okay. This is one of my favorites to look at. Oh, I guess we did come by this one. I showed you the inside of here, didn't I? Yeah. Hold on a sec. If I said that right or wrong, I don't know. Let me go rock out this bench for a second. Ugh. Okay. Who's up in here? Hi, guys. Oh, nice, dude. That's excellent to hear. That's what that was the conversation that somebody wanted me to have, but I have to be somewhat wary about even using those words because I'm not trying to get my channel jacked up again. But I can allude to it. Obviously, I think most people know what I'm alluding to when I say I can't talk about it. How insane is that? Yeah. But she was saying from the level of addiction that people have, like all the things that people have become addicted to that they were not prior. Okay, I can't just sit here. I gotta find some shade. The sun is coming back up. There's a good spot in the front, but the people were there, so I was waiting for them to leave. I'll go back there and sit. Until then, you guys get to watch the walkie walk. Yeah. So over the past couple of years, due to unforeseen circumstances that were well within the control of the people controlling the nonsensical narrative and lies about everything. They convinced brother and sister to hate each other, and mother and father to hate children, and neighbors to fight their neighbors over the lies of the people that don't even like them. It's always funny, people believing the known liars over you. Like that, you know those people have been lying to you your entire life, but now this is the one time. Give me a break. So of all of that, all the stresses and anxieties and all the things people have taken on as addictions, and I wonder how many people took on good addictions. How many people took on, like, obviously the little bit of stats, which could be, obviously mutilated. I would assume, like, how much more junk food have people been eating? How much, like, mental health disorders are going on? How many people are pick up smoking or drinking or I don't know, just eating, just whatever the habit is. Maybe working from home, maybe being lazy. I don't know. Like, I wonder, but it does seem like people have taken on quite a number of unhealthy addictions. They're using addictions as like algorithms that they get stuck in, and they're just like, oh, this is what I do now, instead of being somewhat creative, spontaneous, and maybe even having a good, maybe instead of using the word addiction, you would use, well, not even habits. That might not even be the right word. I mean, it would be habitual. You could use it as a ritual. Ritual would be a better way of putting it. If it's a ritual, it becomes a little too religious connotation. But you know what I'm getting at. If people, like, I don't know, like, maybe I walk more, which could be healthy. Maybe I eat less, which is definitely healthy. I don't know. There's all sorts of little things that you pick up over these years, and like, I mean, obviously that addiction starts with diction, which means words that are going on in your head. And so these repetitious patterns of words that we repeat in our head become somewhat of the what would you say, the The tangled webs we weave or something. And so people find themselves stuck under a bunch of words, just a word salad, a jumble of words inside of their head that they can't even decode. I wrote something the other day. It was a paragraph, clear as day, of what I was saying. Absolutely anybody would have understood exactly what I said. Quite proficient at writing, quite efficient, quite it's something. If I make an effort to do succinctly and to get a point across, I could do that. So I wrote something. The person said there was a word salad to say nothing. I was like, wow. I was like, ain't that funny? I mean, clearly everybody on this ridiculous site does that all day long. And I say something that's coherent, and because their brain is so overwhelmed with stupidity and just ignorant ideas and foolish, unthought out things, that anybody that says something intelligent sounds crazy, moronic, foolish. It's like a friend of mine used to always say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. And that's probably perhaps why I don't hang out many places, because call it what you like, but I'm not going to cower my intellect or my intelligence to other people. I'm not going to be like belittle myself because apparently I'm going to be, oh my god, that's you're so full of yourself. Well, what the fuck? Am I supposed to like, oh, I'm so stupid, I don't know anything. I don't know how that works. I'm just poor little stupid me. Who does that? Like, that's your problem. So back to these awesome statues. See, they do them all in the front right here in the corner. So I wonder I think I might have to come on one of these tours one day. But I think these ones you gotta pay for. I could sneak in. Well, I couldn't really sneak into a group because I look the way I look. I couldn't just fit in, I don't think. Like, where did you come from? What are you doing? That's fun. Little sphere in the front. A Rothschmidt. A Bautovich and a Rothschmidt. Well, the Leona didn't last a year. Makarin. A Bueller, Maxine Bueller, and a Bautovich, a Karen, and a Mary Crowley. Wasn't Alistair, one of Alistair's wives, named? Was it? No. I mean, I think it'd probably be way well known, like more well known, if that was. Although I guess who the hell were his wives or whatever. Anybody know where Aleister Crowley's buried? It's got to be in England, right? Yeah, English dude. Not necessarily. I mean, some people, like some great authors. There's an author that was born. Who the fuck was it? There was somebody that claimed Baltimore as their city, but they were born in Philadelphia. And he's like, I can't remember what the guy's name was. He wrote Everything's Macabre and Dark and Edgar Allan Poe. Is that it? Was he born in Philly and lived in Baltimore or something? And they want to unearth his, what they call it, unearth his body and move it. Hi, birds. Oh, that's it. Haha, what up, guy? Well, there's my stupid hood. Set this up for a second so I can take a little little break here. Oh, he made some finally? That's so funny. I've been telling people, I told you, I had videos out there on how to make them. I told people. I hadn't seen them. Sounds awesome. Yeah, somebody else was making a pair. Didn't Stan Field? Where the hell has he been? Didn't he? He was making like an add-on for his shoe. At least to ground it out. I don't know if he went the whole route. Huh. Woo-wee. Yeah. I had a bunch of videos on it. I don't know if I put them back up. Maybe I have to do that. Pour myself a little beverage here. Oh, speaking of beverages, if anybody wants to, my birthday's coming up here in a couple weeks. 4th of June. I'm a Gemini. You should know this, y'all. If you want to, feel free. You can donate to my birthday slush fund of joy and happiness. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, it's in the description box. TsarXen, that's me. And you also, if you need help with something, you can hit me up on my email, TheoLuminous, TheoLuminous, Gmail. So like if you have like a personal issue that you don't want to talk about on here, like your ass is bleeding, or maybe your coochie smells bad, you don't know why, yeah, we can work on this, we figure these things out. Yeah. I want to go sit at this little park down the street here, down the way. Is this who I think it is? Is this did you change your name again? Or is this a different Terry? I can't tell because I can't really see the picture on here. We'll look at the rest of these statues, and I want to go to this little park where it's super shaded, and you guys can see my favorite flower again. This one. You guys know this right here? Oh my god, it's fucking smells like it's. I can't even stand how good it smells. It's like between that and the jasmine and the honeysuckle. The smell is just fucking next level. And it's when people come down to New Orleans, like, oh, New Orleans smells like a fucking bucket of chum and puke and piss and vomit. Like, no, you just because you walked on Bourbon Street, you dildo. No, don't fucking. Don't talk about New Orleans smelling bad because you went to the one stupid fucking place that smells like rotting carcasses and claim the rest of the city smells like that. When in fact, it smells quite the opposite. Anywhere you go, there's some delicious, wonderful smells. Okay, now look at this. This is a goddamn castle. This is a castle. For real though? Like, you're just gonna sit up here and like just throw a dead body in there? There you go. It's the Skelly Castle. How crazy, right? Okay, we're gonna go on this little bench that I want to sit at, so I can get some shade, some reprise from this heat.
Hey, how you doing, David?
Good, man. So we got this joint right here. Twiz. Yeah. I wonder if that goes deeper. Like how much deeper? It could. How the fuck we know? Okay. I mean, at least the base is deeper on this one. I think it just built up around it. Gilbert Tuajugi. Tuaju. Gilbert and Tuaju. Huh. Let's go do some things out here. Take a leisurely little walk. Join me, won't you? Oh, yeah, definitely make sure you seal it this time. That's so funny. It's so crazy that it got there because it was open, which was fucking magical. Thank you, dude. Oh, you Journey of Enlightened. Okay, I thought you were Terry Bull, which is somebody else. Okay, what up, though? What is good? So this is the enlightened path right here, past the good stuff, past the puppies. Oh man, I have a drink in my hand. I really want to pet this dog. Hi, dog. I wish I could pet you. I have things in my hand. Next time. Here's one of my favorite places. They just put up this. They got a little jet. They got the little lemonade stand in the front. Cool ass church. This is my stomping grounds, yo. See, now you can see this church here. Okay, see the side? You telling me those weren't old windows on the bottom there? Come on. And you got to walk up steps to get in the front. How much deeper was this? I mean, it's curious because of like how deep, like where we're standing right now. It's probably about maybe only a few feet above sea level, because the Mississippi is right down here, and the whole thing is flat, and there's some parts are actually below sea level. So if that building is sitting on top of something else, was the sea lower before? Did the sea rise up quite a bit? And like how long ago? Because was it right around the major reset, which seems to have happened in the early 1800s? Was it right before that? The resetting of populations, which obviously it wasn't a thing that happened all at once with all the populations, but it seems to have taken a few years. It seems pretty scattered, but a few decades. But clearly there were some major league events that were going on. And when you see these houses, like see the older buildings, they always have basements. Well, and they say now they don't. In New Orleans, these houses, there are no basements because they say the water table is too high, and that's why they don't put basements. But yet these old places do have them. So it obviously isn't too high. Hi, puppy. I mean, clearly the water table as you get close to the river is, but there's actually underground tunnels and shit. So figure me that out. Riddle me that. Ooh, best chicken wings in the world, yo. Favorite little outdoor spot. So we are almost there. We've almost arrived at the locale. Okay. We have almost reached our destination. I totally forgot what hot weather was, and we ain't even in the summer yet. It's fuck it. I'm gonna have to start bringing spare T-shirts with me because no matter what, I don't mind sweating. But yeah. Enjoy doing the walks. There you go. Cozy little spot with some birds and some butterflies some cool ass butterflies that rock out over here sometimes. We'll see. Cozy is the coziest little area where people apparently they eat their Vienna sausages and drink High Life. Or no, those are not High Life. Those are Bud Lights. Okay. I might have to take a different seat here. Yeah, this will work. Okay. Hey there. Okay, let's get this thing set up and here we go. Now I think I can see you guys. Sometimes I don't understand people's choice of snacks, like homeless snacks, houselessness snacks, right? Like a can of Vienna sausages. It's not exactly cheap, and it's definitely not exactly good. There's so much things you could buy. Like what is it like? So I'm looking at this little can. There's probably like $2. So for a pound of that shit, it's more expensive than buying an already prepared something. Or I don't know. I always say people's diets from childhood are interesting. I think you ever think about that, like all the things that you've brought into your adulthood as habits, and especially dietary and otherwise. Right? They always say like, oh well, well, my parents had this problem, so I'm probably gonna have that problem. And not at all going, well, your parents had that problem because their diet was trash and you eat the same diet as they did. You probably eat about 80% of what your parents ate. You probably didn't navigate your way out of there. So of course you'd have the same health problems. And I wonder about like the little things that people eat. Like, what do I go back and eat that gives me the, it harkens back to your childhood, and you get that like little jolt of reminiscence, that essence. I can think of a few things that I wouldn't eat, but I'll eat for just knowing that I don't even find it tasty. But there's something, yeah. Like a fillet of fish. I don't know. I could devour a fillet of fish. I love the thing, but I don't know why. It's like the association is like maybe it was like when everybody else was getting Happy Meals, I was getting a fillet of fish. I don't know. Do you love Vienna sausages? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. Are those the things that they'll put in They're like mini hot dogs. They put in the grape, the grape jelly barbecue sauce joint. Little party wieners. And you eat with the toothpick. Is that what those are? Because those are. I mean, once you make them that way, okay. But it's still like a party appetizer thingy, and you got to prepare it. And it's Vienna sausage. Now now I'm gonna have to go get some and just maybe you said you you said you love them. Like, oh man, maybe I'll go get some. I was considering if I should eat today or not, and what to eat. You know what today? You know what comes back today? The party wieners. Yeah, dude. You know what I'm talking about. The party wieners are probably pretty much off the chain, man. Uh, McDonald's, Taco Bell is re-releasing the Mexican pizza. I've eaten Taco Bell twice in the past 15 years, and those 2 times were a month ago. And I mean, I ate it twice because I ordered so much that it was just an absurd amount of food. And I think I've eaten McDonald's maybe like 5 times in the past 10 years, 20 years. And I think every time it's been filet of fish or nuggies. Yeah, it's interesting. The thing about dietary habits, it's always it's the it's the most interesting thing to talk about with people, coming from a level of going, okay, the world is metaphysics, everything is your mental attitude, and you're creating reality, and you can take from any food you want and get something good out of it, and nourishment, and you can expel the bad, and you can transmute things, and going from that level, because that's the highest attainment, right? You can consume or not consume anything and transmute it in your alchemical lab. But that only goes so far as to say, like, apparently, obviously, what is better for me to stick in my face? An orange that I just picked off the tree that is glowing, or a ham sandwich on white bread with mustard, and you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. So there is that physical component of like your dietary habits that, oddly enough, some people, for whatever reason, they give it so little thought that their dietary habits don't even affect them, and they live a long life and a happy life and a healthy life, and they're eating some garbage. Other people, they're so handcuffed to something, to their dietary strict, regimented structure, that their mind is creating so much chaos in the food, in their mind, that becomes them part of their reality, that they end up like dying from a fucking stroke at 55, right? Because they've caused so much terror and anxiety. Like, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can only eat this. I have to eat this. No, I can't have that. Don't do that. And there's this non-living life attitude, like that everything that could possibly have any type of harm associated with it cannot be done. That they might as well live inside of a bubble and just so your diet is not just what you consume in your mouth hole. It's what you're consuming in your ears and your eyes. Music, if you're consuming consuming good music, consume good artwork, you have good conversation, it's people just think the only thing the things that you eat are the primary dietary habits, and it's quite literally not. It's got to be your mental diet. What do you think? Which to a very big degree trumps all the rest of the shit. With the grand exception of, like, okay, I don't think you'd be having a good day if you consumed chunks and chunks of human feces versus, here, have some apple juice. You know what I mean? There's caveats to the game. like consuming things with a happy heart. Like when I was a vegetarian, a hardcore veggie head, years and years, I'd be so strict about it that I wouldn't I wouldn't eat things as if there was meat even associated with the plate. Like if I was cooking, it's got to be. I don't want it touching. I don't want it anywhere near. I was pretty adamant about that. Which became a stressor, and I couldn't enjoy people's time, conversation, and if they offered me food, I would deny it vehemently. Like no, I can't consume that. Now, obviously, if you got dietary restrictions and you don't want to consume pig, and then I understand you don't want to consume pork because it might be human. I get it. But to not be able to, if somebody offers me a sit down and a snack, I want to be able to just go, yeah, that's thank you, I appreciate that, and eat it with them. Why not? What's if it's something that's not going to give me explosive diarrhea the next hour and it's not going to kill me in the moment, then I think I'm okay. You know, I've done and consumed and a lot stupider shit in my life. Yeah, man, that's so funny. I still have my rice experiment in my closet because I put it somewhere where I wouldn't pay attention to it, right? Because I did the experiment where I only charged it the first time. The fuck you, the I love you, and they ignore. And so I put them all to where I ignore after that. And I just had forgotten about it until a couple weeks ago. And so it's been months. And it's still going where the ignore one is the worst. It's got like some reddish, orange, blue mold. And the I hate you is all bluish green mold, and the I love you is a little bit of yellow juice. It's not even. If I took the cap off, it would not make me vomit. The other two would make me arrow. Party wiener dog. That you know what? We should get shirts. I'm gonna get a shirt. This is party wiener. I mean, you got a party wiener, right, dude? Gotta go with the cheap joke there. I've been kind of craving. I've kind of been craving sushi, but I being kind of budgetary minded these days because I spent so much money over the past two festivals. Um, I was thinking, quantity, cost of getting what I want versus like, I mean, sushi I'm just gonna devour. I guess I get a bento box. We'll see. We'll see. It's another thing that's interesting how your over the course of your life your tastes will change if you allow them to. If you allow them to, my taste in music's changed. My taste in types of art has changed. Taste in food has definitely changed. And one of the big things, if anybody's ever fasted, especially on water, the the kind of cravings that you'd have for certain things and the kind of things that taste good to you will completely change. It will completely change afterwards. A friend of mine, after a long fast, prior to long fast, couldn't stand blue cheese. Afterwards, craved blue cheese like like the way a pregnant woman would love pickles. You know what I'm saying? There was all sorts of things that changed in the flavor profile for me. One thing that happens for sure. Hey, what's up, Bluebird? Is that a blue jay? What's up, blue jay? One thing that changed for me was, and this happens to everybody, even after a pretty short one. How salty salt is, how salty food tastes. Like you'll get to the point where you will not, over salting food is not a thing. Everything from most places, that's too much sodium. There was places like after I do a fast, there's places I just can't eat because I'm like, I'll just spit it out. So they're not trash. They're here. They're party wieners. hmm Yeah, I mean, there are some things that are like, is that really what I want when I want to eat? Like the after effects. Is it worth the consumption of it? Is the candle worth the flame? Is that what it is? The candle worth the flame? What's up, Ninja Turtle? What it do? Just trying to get a little bit of shade in here because the sun just came back out and it's kicking. I want to go to my pool, but I don't know. There's too many neighbors, man. I got like 80% of my neighbors like me, 20% do not like me at all. So sometimes I'm just like, I'd rather not be in that energy. It's quite hilarious. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious to you all here why people might find me not not awesome and why other people would. And you could probably guess what types of people don't like me. Anyways, yeah, kicking it in the getting the I got a little sun on my chest. I was having a rash. Here, let me explain something to people. I was having a little bit of a rash on my chest. I think it was either due to either changing my detergent for my clothes, or a combination of that and perhaps like clogged up liver, kidney, gallbladder, and little wormies and shit. So I did a couple enemas, and then I went out into the sun, and I let the sun hit all of my my disgusting, filthy, like weird shit that was on my chest and back, and literally it went away. Like I woke up the next day, it was gone. My skin was healed. Why? Because the sun is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So if it was a fungus, it kills the fungus. I mean, think about what sun does. You can dry beef jerky. It causes all of these great healthy reactions. Moon does quite the opposite. But yeah, the sun cleaned up my little bit of rash that I had. What kind of enemas did I do? Well, I did. Well, first I started with the water because it's always smart to do with water. Then I did some urine, and then I did so that way it got everything moved, and then coffee. So that way I could get the gallbladder and the liver cleaned up a little bit. I still need to do a bunch more. I was going to take and do it for a couple days, but I was like, man, I'm on the toilet all day today. Let me take a fucking break. It's like I want to go outside tomorrow. If I had my preference, I would just spend 3 days straight just throwing buckets and buckets of coffee up my asshole, which I've done before, which is probably the healthiest, single greatest. The single greatest thing I've done in the shortest period of time to improve my health on every level was doing about, I don't know, 20 enemas over 3 days. 20 coffee enemas over the course of 3 days. Single, without question. Obviously, I'm observing they tell you to only do a couple in a day. And because I'm a maniac, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna do this until it's I know I shouldn't do it anymore. So I did like 7 or 8 a day, and the reason that I know it was doing something is because I could literally physically see the results of what was happening, and I could smell the results of what was happening. Like the amount of burnt oil and black shit, like tar, and different things that I'm like, I'm fasting. I haven't eaten anything that looks like that. And yeah, like I could, like my body, I could smell better. Like my eyesight got more. I could see better. My eyeballs were whiter. Single greatest thing, dude. Just sit in the fucking toilet, sit in the bathroom, and lay down and do yourself enema after enema. That's my recommendation to the world. See what happens. Most people won't. They'll cut it off after a couple. Yeah, distilled is the best to use to yeah. It doesn't really matter. I mean, look, if you people get when people always ask me about this, I have to always say you're making it to, not you, but it's just in general, it's a thing. People want a specific linear set of instructions, and they need to know how many ounces of water exactly, how many, because they think of everything as if you go to a doctor, they're going to tell you take one of this 250 milligram this thing, and if you're really in pain, you can take 2, but do not take more than that because you can cut. Okay, it doesn't quite work like that with when you're cleansing yourself and using real food items and water and shit. So it's like the fact that you're even cleaning, even if it was sink water, if that's all you had access to, it's definitely better than not doing an enema. You know what I'm saying? If you have your druthers, distilled water, spring water, reverse osmosis, well water. Obviously, the less things you're putting back inside of your body, the better. But then you go from there, and you can add all sorts of different herbs for certain effects, and all sorts of different things that. So yeah, it's not a. It's like whenever people are like, write this shit out, man. Write it out. Just write a book. People buy it. I'm like, it's not. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, I could. It would work. People would buy it. I get it. But then there's so many caveats. There's so many little things that might be, just because it works for one person. If you're 140 pounds and 6 foot tall, I might have you do something wildly different than if you were 5'2" and 350 pounds, and maybe you have a weird gait and you sit and lean over a computer all day. What you need to do with things, for the most part, is going to be wildly different. Like, yes, there's going to be some staples. Do a fucking enema. Get some sunshine. Walk around. Right? You get seven very simple rules for health. Sunshine, walking, grounding, good relationships, good food, clean water, and I forget the 7th one. But whatever. The point is that's pretty simple rules. And then as far as goes for what to consume, for what specific ailments and all that, becomes a lot more, becomes very specific towards the person. Know what I mean? It's kind of like when you start playing golf, there's no reason for you to have the best clubs in the market. It doesn't matter. Hit the fucking ball. You can play. It's like you just start with what you got. What's that old story? This old man is in a village and he's sitting on his porch and he sees a man walk by. He's got a backpack on, and he hears him say, "Hey, old man, tell me how to get to Worcester." And he goes, "Well, if I were you, I wouldn't start from here. Like, where else are you gonna start from?" I often meditate on the eating thing because, like, as I'm sitting here and having fasted many times on just liquids and water, juices, etc. And I'm thinking about food, and I'm going, but I don't even really need to eat anything. I don't even really want to eat anything. Like, the only thing that's doing that is some little thing in the back of my mind that's saying, you'd like that. It's not saying I need it. It's not saying it's going to nutritionally be great for me. I mean, it could be. I can definitely get something that would be healthy for me, sure. But it's just something just in the back of my mind goes, that's going to be delicious and you're going to enjoy it. And isn't life about enjoying? Hi, puppy. Hi, baby. How are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. You come over here. Yeah, so I always have that little thing. Like, what's the I don't make it too analytical, but baseline. Is there what's the positive and negative to this scenario here? What's the positive and negative? What's the benefit cost ratio here that we're dealing with? Like, how satisfied could I be with something? It's like you can't, think about it this way. You can ruin a relationship by wanting to be too perfect. Yes, here's your meditation for that. You can ruin relationships by wanting them to be too perfect. Why? Because you can over sharpen a sword. You get the edge so sharp, it's right there. It's as good as it can be, and you sharpen it one more time, and you ruin the edge. You destroy the edge. So you can't really have high expectations, but no, you can't. There's no such. You're not perfecting anything. You're not gonna have. You get something near of what you expect, sure. But like if I want, like, how satisfied, like right now, how satisfied am I with life? In this moment, how satisfied am I? Ask yourself that. Right now, I'm 9 out of 10. What is my dissatisfaction? I could have a fan, or I could be jumping in a pool. That would be a 10 out of 10. In this moment. Now, if I start to backwards go through things, if I go, okay, what are the things that I don't have that I need right now? Right now, in this instant, there's not a fucking thing. But if I go, oh shit, I got a bill to pay. I got to come up with this money by, that's a thing. I got to come up with some money by, next week. What can I do about it? There's like, it's something I don't have control over doing right now. Like, I don't, like, however it gets to me, it gets to me. Could I go and, start scrolling through trying to find some employment or whatever to do some random ass job? Yeah, it's still, I mean, that's still putting too much effort into, like, what does it take right now for me to be here? How much happiness can I have now? How much should I worry about the future? I don't know enough to worry about it. So I just go, well, look at these beautiful little butterflies. Is that too Pooh Bear-esque for people? Is that what that is? I don't know. Yeah, certainly you can plan for and manifest the future by having certain thought patterns and expectations. That's a good idea. But to succumb to all of that extra fodder and chatter in your brain, I still think they screwed up on naming butterflies the way they did. They're not butterflies. They're flutterbys. See? Because what do? They flutter by. That's what they're doing. So why do they call them butterflies? There's no fucking butter around here. And they're barely even flying. How about that? See, I wish I could show you, but they don't really stop. Oh, there they go. They're the super black ones with yellow. They're not the orange monarchs. I don't suppose the monarchs could be yellow too, but they're super jet black with yellow streaks on it. They might be poisonous. Yeah, another thing that I find myself whenever I get a little sense of anxiety or depression about anything, especially anxieties. This is helps with. Like, look at all of the animals that exist. They don't have shoes. They're not worried about clothes. They're not worried about where the next meal is coming. They don't have necessarily a house to go to. And are you not more in the whole grand scheme of things in reality? Like, if there is some sort of God or something, like, weren't you given higher functions? Weren't you given more? Like, what do you have to be like, so stressed out about? So I said to myself, like, what the fuck am I worried about? There's fucking wild animals everywhere, just going about their shit, playing around, sniffing, learning. Oh, but you could accomplish so much more. Accomplish what? The great work was already accomplished. The Magnus Opus, or the Magnum Opum, or the Magnum Opus. I think that would be the right one. Depends on how you want to say that. I think it was already written. It was already done. The great work was accomplished. You're already here. We're gonna fucking we're gonna design a wheel better than wheels built. I don't know. Gonna make a better ice cream? Probably not. Since what's up? They aren't even made of butter. 7 out of 10, super nice. Winston, it's good to see you, man. They aren't even made of butter. This is correct. Yeah, it's striving, surviving, surthrival. Yeah. It's like, what is it? There's not the destination, the journey kind of thing. Yeah, there's that, but like, and it's like once you obtain something, you're like, oh, cool. It's soon that fancy paint job on the new car fades. You're just like, nope, need a new one. Gotta upgrade the model. Need something new. Granted, it's you can't just sit there and be 100% into the bodhisattva kind of. I'm just sitting here meditating, because you have a body for a reason. It's not just to sit there and meditate. It's to interact with the world, but it's like, I think you gotta have a happy medium amongst the two things. Sometimes you gotta be doing something. That's what you got a body for. Fucking go fucking, fuck good, smoke good, drink good, eat good. What the hell you gotta do? Other times you should just be happy with what you have and the experience you're having. Don't get too much caught up in the rigmarole. Maybe that's what this little spot is, in a certain mental lesson. Okay, so I'm here in what you'd consider a tiny park. It's 1 block by a half block by. They got a major thoroughfare of cars going this way and that way. There's a street there behind me. The bus coming through. But yet there's this tiny little oasis of all of these plant life and all of this beautiful thing. It's right here. Just amongst all the messy, weird chaos. I got butterflies, I got birds, and it's just like a tiny little island oasis in the midst of all of the things that are going on. Just sit there and chill. Time to make a beverage, huh? Look at that. Some Sunny D. Why do I get Sunny D? Well, honestly, I like the taste of it. If the cost was the same to other things, I would get Sunny D. Granted, it's not the best thing, but it's cheaper, and I like the flavor. It's just what it is. Now, if it was the same price really for healthy juice, and it was it's like the organic, real sugar, etc., of course I would get that. But I can get this for $2 or that for $5. Sorry, B. It's not in the current state of budget right now. Oh man, I had that. You know what's funny? I had right around the time I was doing the enemas last week. It was kombucha. Kombucha was a main that was going in. Well, everything was going up the butt, so that was super good to cleanse, to get everything going. Move on me. Get out of here. Yeah, kombucha. I was on a kombucha kick for a while, but I've learned to drink it as an accent to my diet. I used to get like gallons of it and just like straight drink it all day. But it was really just making me shit more. I was digesting food way too fast, and I didn't. It felt like it should have been a health drink and not like a go-to beverage. Although I did have one brand that was so good. It's a local place that does a hop variety, hop flavored. So it tastes kind of like beer kombucha. And they do gallons, so in a clear glass bottle, and it was cheap for the bottle too. It was not like overpriced. You know how kombucha's like $6 for like a fucking half-ounce shot. And there's a couple breweries around here that do kombucha now. Oh, Unstance, you still got it? Yeah, I think they're just basically mixing. I think they're putting a malt liquor or a beer. They're just doing like a 50-50 on it, which is fine. But like if I'm drinking beer, it's already gonna give me a little bit of the shits. I don't want to go full on, runny diarrhea. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking beers. I'm not drinking one beer because it's tasty. And cost is prohibitive on the kombucha joints. But they're delicious for sure. What are you doing? You got a SCOBY just chilling? You haven't done anything with it? How you doing, man? Get on it. Get on it. Get yourself God, it's so easy. Just make some tea and throw that fucker in there. See, there's a lot of things that, due to the space of my kitchen, I can't do. Like, there's a lot of, like, I'm not, like, it just, you go to some chicks' apartments and there's like this shit sitting over here and it's so hippie-esque. I'm not that. I can't do that. I can't have this shit sitting over here and this. It doesn't work for me. I can't. It's too cluttered and messy. But so my kitchen, the things that I would do normally, I don't have space to do it. Don't have enough counter space. And also the humidity in my building. Excuse me, the heat in my building and AC. There's some things that I tried to make, and they end up going bad because it's not cool enough. So I kind of miss out these days on what I can do in my kitchen. Yeah, Ninja, they're super good. They're super tasty. The ones that I've had. But when I'm used to drinking I can get a fucking can of beer for $1, and now you're like $5. I'm like, all right, I think I'm okay. I can have 3 kombuchas, or I can get 3 kombuchas, which will get me not even halfway to drunk, or I can get myself a bottle of vodka and stay fucking just perfectly drunk all day for 3 or 4 days. And even if I was rich, I don't know that I would. Oh yeah? Holy shit! How did you get it that thick? The biggest I ever had, I had ones that got to be like a piece of leather, like maybe an inch thick, which were tough. Like there's like kombucha made like shoes and shit. You've seen these before? Scoby made shoes or shirts or whatever. I don't know. They like rope, but 6 inches thick, and it's in a gallon Freemason jar. Yeah, I used to make it in a those iced tea lemonade jars with the big screw caps that you get for like summertime at the really nice white people's house that has all the shit on the side. But one of those jars that I used to remake all my kombucha in. Have I ever tried wormwood cigar? No. I mean, I know very well of wormwood and thujon. I've smoked wormwood, never specifically just by itself, but I put it in blends with things, and I've drank it plenty. I mean, if you really want to do an enema, do a wormwood enema. Cinnamon, walnut bark, wormwood, and drinking it's so fucking bitter. Super good for you. Oh man, that's what you get from smoking fucking black and milds with people. Speaking of cigar, I got a cigar that I would like to smoke. Oddly enough, I really it's so weird. I don't at all like smoking tobacco in general in the heat in the summer. But a cigar, there's something about on a hot day in the shade. A cigar on a hot day in the shade is awesome. But like smoking like a black and mild or whatever, like in the heat, no way. It's just like sticky and weird and like. Let's see what time it is here. That's the only bad part about doing these things outside. For me to keep these things going, I need to bring I need to turn my the contrast on my screen up, which eats the shit out of the battery. So, like, I just used way too much battery to see the screen. So I have to bring one of these with me. It is interesting how much of your battery life is eaten by your screen. Okay, let's see here. It's like right now I turn. Let's maybe get over here. Yeah, work on this side. Next to the fucking. That's a little better. For me, at least. That'll work. You know, it's always funny whenever I see like beer cans all over the place, and like I'm like, I get it, you're homeless, but you kind of do live in, like, the person that does this, like, he kind of lives in the park. So it's like, if you live here, wouldn't you just clean up a little bit? Like, why just put it on the ground? It's like, you ever look at those what are they called? Like, people that are it's like, well, it's well beyond people that hoard things. It's to the level of, like, apathy and extreme depression, that they don't clean at all. And to say not at all, that their place is so horrifically disgusting that you go, how does this person even exist? Like, how are they, how is the internet paid? How is the rent paid? How do they get food? All these rappers, where is this all coming from? How do they make, what do they do to make the income to just pay to throw all of this, like, mounds, and like they have a little spot on the bed where they just fall into, and the rest of the room is just covered in anything you can think of. I mean, I get it. I get being dirty. I get a mess. I get being depressed or, like, hungover or whatever. Like, isn't there a point where people go, okay, should probably clean this up, I think. That's a level of. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense, because if you're that apathetic, then the rest of the things would become worthless too, like eating. So how does it get dirtier? Like, you'd become so apathetic that you'd become depressed and numb to the world, where smoking, 4 packs of Camels and drinking Busch Light and eating microwavable Hot Pockets, and you're not going to the store and getting delivery of McDonald's, like, even all of that would become superfluous. It's weird. It's got to be a dark fucking weird place to be, man. I mean, everybody knows depression, but that's gotta be crazy. And you wonder where that comes from too, right? What kind of PTSD or childhood trauma must that person be going through? That's tough. Like, and how many people are, like, past the point of no return on that kind of shit? A buddy of mine who lives in the building, he was about 300 pounds, chubby, drank way too much, And then one day, because it always goes hand in hand. His addiction changed to working out. He stopped completely drinking and went on a diet completely different and worked out like 3 times a day. And in under a year, he lost he said about 90 pounds. And looking at him, now he's like 6'4", 210. He was 6'4", 300. And he's built like he looked like he could pick someone up and throw them across the room. Where before he looks like he could maybe bear hug me. And so he was, I'm sure he wasn't in a great state of being. Like I know he's probably got some little bit of like, post-traumatic stress disorder. He was in Army and stuff, and like he's got his, but he got out of it. Like, and I don't think he was ever a dirty like filthy person. But I always wonder like the people that slide into that place, like what stops them from really, like the amount of as the beginning of the show and something when we talk about, like, it's surprising that there isn't more people just offing themselves with pills and things these days. After this whole shit show and charade that's going on the TV, and then people around you, like it's understandable why people want to be isolated and alone anyways. Like, who wants to deal with half of these? Half of these people are dumber than you could possibly imagine, and they're aggressive about their stupidity. Yeah, they're aggressive about their stupidity. And that's a lot of people now, and it's only gotten worse. So it's understandable. So for me, it's surprising more people haven't just went the route of over medicating. I think it'd take a lot to go the other routes. What are the major ones? They say jumping in the water, off the building. Ammunition, blah blah blah. No, like it's easy enough to just do the other route. It's just surprising. I mean, maybe the statistics on it just haven't come out yet. But the numbers are up. Point in case is as we're talking about mental disorders and addictions, and this is the beginning of last show and somewhere in the middle here as we're trying to dip into again. Where this is always the funny part. I'm like, no one's ever gonna find this part of the show where I'm gonna talk about something that has the grand levels of importance. I just assume I've already made shows like this and it's easy enough to find. So where are we at? What else do you want me to talk about? Maybe okay. So usually my older videos, I'd always give, if you have a problem tied to it, is always a solution. So what is people's problems, and how can they be solved with little tricks, mental tricks? Everything is a mental trick, really, because you have to think it before you do it, right? So you got little mental tricks of thinking and acting and being different. Like, how could you prove to somebody that despite all of the dumb shit, let me do that. Do you use anything to counteract drinking too much caffeine? I think you've only seen me perhaps a few times, and I'll explicitly put it in the title, like, it's Zen on coffee. Like, I would just, because I drink very, very minimal coffee. Like, I'm not a coffee a day kind of person. I'll drink coffee whenever I feel like it kind of person. But when I do, if I overdo it, I'm zooted. Counteracting coffee, I don't know what does that. I know counteracting nicotine or tobacco is sugar. That helps. Sugary substances. But I don't know what counteracts nicotine. Or excuse me, what counteracts caffeine. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I think depending on too much caffeine, for me, I guess alcohol works. because alcohol to me is a depressant and somewhat an anti-anxiety depressant, but it doesn't really cause me depression in small quantities, and it's usually only because it's over, the next day you're depleting your serotonin, right? So you maybe have the depression the next day, but and if the caffeine is a stimulant and causing you anxiousness, wouldn't it only make sense that you find some depressive? I mean, apparently, I guess you could use whatever. I always get it backwards. You got sativa, right? You got the kind of weeds. There's one is like a mental, one's a put you in a couch. Something also that works, but people get addicted to, is if you find something that is the antithesis. Let me give you an idea. An antithesis means there's a thesis, so it means it's still bound to it. Let me give you an idea. How not to get stuck. How not to get stuck in a double bind. If someone drinks too much, or maybe is addicted to narcotics, heroin, right? There are specific drugs you can take that interfere and counteract that. And then what you do is you end up becoming addicted to that substance. How many people know of people that go to AA? I guarantee 90% of them, if not more, probably didn't smoke a lot of cigarettes and probably didn't drink a lot of coffee. And they gave up alcohol and immediately started drinking all of the coffee, taking all of the white sugar, and smoking all of the tobacco and nicotine products. Guarantee it. So, and in other ways, in heroin, they use whatever the offsetting thing is for that, but you just become addicted to something else. And that's the double bind of things. You have to you have to figure out a way to use things selectively. It's like when I said dude went from eating and drinking and being sloppy all the time to working out. He's become obsessed with working out, and he's become obsessed with being sober and working out, which is just fine if you want to be sober, I guess. Have fun with that, but once you're just trading in your addiction. Is it healthier? Perhaps. Physically, sure. Is it mentally healthier? I don't know. I can't comment on that because I don't know what kind of mental dramas and things people hold in there and have to deal with. But I just find too many people they're not correcting their mental state of understanding what they're addicted to and why, like the roots of the problem. Everyone trades addictions. Now here's the good part of that is if you have things that are terrible for you and you know that, it's like foods. You don't tell people that have an unhealthy diet that they can't have cheese sticks and chicken fingers and deep fried elephant testicles anymore. You can't tell them that. You give them a trade and an option, which is the healthier choice. I mean, for people that have major league addictions, you give them a healthier variety. You don't restrict. Restrictions never get anything anywhere. You have to give options. Anybody that goes on a diet that is a restrictive diet destroys everything. You need to be on a diet that has allowances, but gives you like choices or levels of understanding. Like your diet, well, I eat healthier. Why? If somebody was eating healthier specifically, not to be something, and I can't have this, and that thing will kill me, and I can't. Well, then that's gonna cause so much. That in and of itself, you build up a level of fear and terror and anxiety towards things you can't have, and it's barriers. You don't build up barriers. You give yourself new options. Somebody doesn't know Like, oh, they're addicted to eating candy. Well, maybe they didn't know that strawberries and honeydew and guava and all of these different fruits. You could freeze them and turn them into something that tastes like. You could turn it into candy. You can make fruit roll-ups that taste like candy, made from real shit, and you're not losing. You're winning something there. But they don't have that clue that that's a possibility. And so they go, well, I can't have anything that's sugary, which isn't true. So I think it's people understanding the difference between needs, desires, and addictions, and how they came about. Kava might help, yeah. Kahlua. Hey, what's up, Suntok? Coffee is the most widely used drug. Well, I mean, how broad are we gonna? How broad are we gonna make that statement? You know what I'm saying? Like, the origination of the bean itself. Like, if you're gonna call coffee a drug, then you have to call marijuana a drug, and you have to call everything else a drug. If we're looking at it from an organic principle of it grows because there's a seed and it becomes something, then I wouldn't call coffee a drug. I'd call all of the shit that they do to alter the coffee and fuck it up and spray it chemically and alter it. Yeah, at that point it's a drug, and yes, I agree with you. But caffeine and nicotine unto themselves are, to my knowledge, and unadulterated, are very minimally addictive, and don't come across to me in a way that drugs do. I don't wake up desiring and wanting coffee, nor nicotine, nor weed. None of it. Not even beer. Unless I'm hungover, I don't even really desire a beer. So these things that are done from a certain perspective, a natural perspective. Now, however, if you start getting coffee that has all the chemicals in it, I was more addicted to like McDonald's or Burger King or shit in the middle aisles in the store, or Coca-Cola, or when I used to smoke weed. Like, I used to not get good weed, but I was addicted to it without question. Weed was the hardest thing for me ever to stop participating in. It's not even close. So when people say like, oh, but you don't know what was in it, it's all the other chemicals. So as long as we accept it from that level, yeah, sure. But coffee to me, and it's in a dark roast espresso version, I'm happy with that. It doesn't affect my view on reality too much. It doesn't really. It just kind of brightens things. Oh, nice. You do it in twice a week to clean your stomach. Oh yeah, because you're gonna. Yeah, there's a lot of chemicals they put in it that will give you an overabundance of stimuli, and then you have to deal with the depression afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, in the morning, if I need to shit in the morning, and I feel that way, anything with lots of acid in it, any type of juice, lemon, lime, especially, urine definitely will clean me out. Coffee, those will always fix. A beer, yeah, as long as it's the closer it is to living. That it has all of the it hasn't gone through all of the processes, which is I don't get those kind too often. But yeah, a beer will help clean you out. I think lemonade, limeade, and warm works best. Steak, burger, and cheese. What when you say a steak burger with cheese? What does that mean? Oh yeah, Matthew. Coffee and tobacco. Yeah, like legitimately, I could get up and smell coffee, and it makes my stomach go gurgle gurgle, and I can feel my gallbladder kick in, and usually even before I pour the coffee, I will have to shit. Yeah, that's so funny. But what is it? What is a steak burger? Is it like taking a good piece of steak and turning it into ground beef rather than using like 30% fat, cheap, like ground up shit beef? Are you talking about like a Philly cheesesteak? Interesting, instance. What does the word sight mean? I'm guessing you were sort of joking, but well, I mean, think about it. If you say sight, if you cite something, then you can recite something. So maybe sipe and cite, because if I cite something, check it out. If I cite something, CITE, I write it down. If I see something, I cite it. If I SITE, I make a place for it. If I cite something, I sit something in a site. And if I cite it, I'm telling you where it is. And if I see something, so those words of sight. So if I recite something, I'm doing that. And cite and cite seem to be pretty similar words, huh? Oh, prime beef. See, if I love a prime rib, but I want to eat it. I want it on the bone. I want the au jus. I want the horseradish. I want to sit down at one of those places and just devour the shit out of that. Funny, last time I went to this place. It's called Houston's, and ordered. It was my birthday a couple years ago. It's a really nice, fancy steak prime rib joint. And I sat at the bar and ordered a prime rib. And I said, "Don't even bother giving me utensils." And and this is a fancy restaurant. Like it was way too much. Like I shouldn't. Well, I was like, if I'm paying this much, I'm eating it the way I want. So I just started ripping it apart with my hands and eating it, and it was fucking incredible. There's something also about eating, especially a piece of meat with your hands, than sticking into it and cutting with the fork, but ripping it apart. There's something, I'm not going to say primal about it, but certainly. It's fucking gorgeous. Yeah, it was like a $40, it was like a $45 meal. And I was already half loaded, sitting there and just wow. Oh, sure. That, well, what do you think's more important though? The pronunciation out into the world, or the effect of it on paper? I think there's a valid argument for both of them. But if you're speaking something, if I want to create something and I want to use an ancient language, I want to use Latin, I want to use Tamil, I want to use and I have to know those tones to get the universe to create something for me, because it's using a tonal thing. However, what if I said, well, I'm going to just use my own language and I'm going to speak it in existence because I know what I mean? Would that also work? I don't know. There seems to be more ancient, complex geometry to the connection of words and spelling and creating some sort of space, as in the idea of bioacoustic resonance, and how what's around you is a representation of your internal field of energy, and I always use this example because it's an easy one to make. If you look at someone's front yard and there's dandelions everywhere, it's because they probably have a fat beer belly, and they should be turning that into wine or some sort of a tincture that will help with what is it? I always forget. Is it for the kidneys or is it for the liver? Because a lot of people say that beer, alcohol is no good for the liver, when in fact it's almost certainly way worse for the kidneys. But that's the process of why that's that way. Well, instance, I mean, if you write something down and you intone it in the mind, you can get reality to function for you, yeah? So if I write down a sentence and I put it in my mind and I burn it, reality is going to accept that, certainly. But then there's a tone that literally can break a piece of glass or levitate something off the ground. So, I wonder. I mean, proper spelling on paper seems silly to me because we have so many different languages with the word that means the same thing, but it's spelled slightly different and said slightly different. Lentil dal. What is lentil? What's going on there? Is that like a dalamakani? It's funny because some people call it just slightly different words. How you put them together? Like a makani, dalamakani. Sicky. Let me pour myself a drink here. Unsa got jokes. A Barbie doll. That came out of nowhere, for instance. Yes. Very, very good. I figure you'd be the kind of dude to eat a Ken doll, though. Just a Barbie girl. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Who did that? Whose song was that? Hey, if anybody wants to, my Sunny D is at 0%. So if anybody wants to help me out, Sunny D is like $2. Feel free. Cash App, PayPal. It helps me entertain the shit out of you. Just pretend I'm some fucking homeless retard asking for a bus fare. The Venga Boys. Is that right? Yeah, I can kind of hear it now because I can hear him go, "Let's go, Barbie." No. This has been fun. Probably kick it with you guys for a couple more minutes here, and then try to find myself some juice, money, and jump in the pool, because it is still, the sun is now to the point where it's caused even the shade to be warm. Hey Matthew, no worries. No, hey, you know, for you motherfuckers on here that don't got it like that, I really, truly don't expect anything. I really don't. It's all the other asshats in the background that get something and they would never share in return. It works that way though. It's terrible the world works that way, but it helps the world to work, because if every time that someone could afford to give me in return what I give them, when things would it would pitter patter like a ping pong game, back and forth in a reciprocative, like, oh hey, how's your day? Oh, I'm great. I'm great too. I hope you're even doing better. Oh, I think you're gonna have a best day. And they'll just jack each other off at the end of time. But if you pay it forward, it's always the people that help me out the most are the people that have the least. It's almost always that way. It should be the people with a lot of money that pay the fuck to me. I mean, obviously, but at the same time, who do I help out? I'm not giving the person that has, $1 million in the bank any money. I'm giving them a fuck over here who needs money. I don't know. That's just the way it works. Instance. I'd have to assume your cock kind of probably looks like an ape man's cock, or maybe like you ever watch that you ever watch that show? Oh fuck, it's called Human Resources. It's a cartoon, and then there's these hairy cocks, like the entire cock and balls are hairy. Looks like do bears have dicks? Because you ever see a bear walking around, there's never a cock there. Just the hair covers it up. You got like one of those things. I don't think bears exist. I think bears are a figment of all of our imaginations. You ever seen bears fuck? But Unses, if you haven't seen this show, it's fucking hilarious. It's called. What is it based on? I'm trying to think of the show it's based on. It's on Netflix. It's called Human Resources. It's a cartoon, but it's an adult cartoon. It's really. It's out there. Oh no, Unstance, I don't think I want to do that. But now that you've said it, I'm gonna have to do it. Fuck. There's this really interesting smell I get here, and it's I don't know which one of these restaurants is doing it, but the smell of onion rings, fried onion rings. But it smells like fried onion rings on a burger. And I don't know who's doing it, but it's so fucking awesome. Every once in a while it wafts over this way. It kind of smells like Funyuns. But if Funyuns were real. Like not just the little things in a bag, but if someone was making Funyuns, garlic and onions right there. Like, why has no one ever done that before, honestly? You know how easy it would be to crush up and make some onion rings with garlic, powdered yumminess on the outside. I don't want just beer battered, but I want extra garlic. I want chunks of it in there. Roasted garlic on that shit would be fucking ill. Anyways, that's what it smells like. I mean, bears fucking is different than bear fucking. Especially now here's Unsens, here's where spelling gets thrown into the mix. If I put bear fucking versus bear fucking, two different things. All these little mosquitoes just bit the fuck out of my leg, son. Hey, well, how about this, y'all? Let me pack this shit up. Go back to the apartment, get myself a towel, and we'll do a round 2 down there. We'll do a public service announcement round 2, because I'm getting a nice little afternoon vodka buzz, and I definitely need to hit the pool. So we'll have some different shit to talk about. Anybody have any ideas? You know, hit me up. Let me know. Put it in the comments afterwards. Any ideas for a show? Or we'll just shoot the shit again. Let me get the fuck out of here, though. Yeah, I can't really do it right now because I'm surrounded by human beings. I'm not like that exactly. So as per usual, if you want to, anybody here, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, it's in the description box beneath. My name is TsarXen. And most importantly in your life is take care of yourself. That's your experience. And then share when you can. Be goofy, be weird. All that stuff. Yeah, I'll try to be back within the hour. I think I should be able to get back within the hour because I got to grab my other charger too, and then we'll have a day about it. So be cool, y'all. Talk soon. Good to see everybody. Toodles.